Hello, my name is Dr. Jordan Harris. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and supervisor, licensed professional counselor and supervisor. And my specialty is breaking down tapes of master therapists so that we can learn their skills. And today we're watching a young Carl Rogers work with a single mom. Mom is newly divorced and she's trying to figure out how she can talk to her daughter, especially about mom's relationship to with men. So, without further ado, let's jump in and see what we can learn about how Carl Rogers works with a single mom.
She really knew you, could she accept you?
This is what I don't know. Yes. I don't want her to turn away from me.
So, the presenting problem is that mom is unsure about how much she should talk to her daughter about mom's sex life. Daughter has asked about some of the men who've come to the house, and mom is like, I've lied to her about these guys, and I don't know what I should tell her. What should I do?
That
And I don't
relationship,
even know how I feel about it because there are times when I feel so guilty, like when I have a man over. I even try to make a special setup so that if I were ever alone with him, the children would never catch me and that sort of thing. Because I'm real leery about it. And yet I also know I have these desires.
so it's quite clear it isn't only her problem or the relationship with her, it's in you as well.
And my guilt. Yeah, I feel guilty so
what
often.
can I accept myself as doing? And,
Yes.
And you realize that you set up sort of subterfuges so as to make sure that you're not caught or something. You realize that you are acting from guilt. Is that?
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't like the way I would like to feel comfortable with whatever I do. If I choose not to tell Pammy the truth, to feel comfortable that she can handle it, and I don't. I want to be honest, and yet I feel there are some areas that I don't even accept.
Mhm. Mhm. And if you can't accept them in yourself, how could you possibly be comfortable in telling them to her?
Right.
Mhm.
I think this is a really common thing. Sometimes our clients come in and they're self conscious about something. Like this mom is self conscious about her own sexuality and her relationship to these with these guys, and she's sort of projecting that onto her daughter a little bit, right? Like, she sort of comes in asking, "What should I do? What should I tell my daughter about my sex life?" But as Rogers is sort of peeling back the layers, what sort of bubbles to the surface is that she's actually uncomfortable herself with her own sex life. That's interesting to me. Sometimes I think for us therapists, we can get stuck on the surface and we're like, well, you should tell your daughter that, you do this. And you should make it open so she's comfortable with it. Or we have our opinions about these things. But our opinions aren't the real question clients are asking. Our opinions are really getting in the way of what the client is really asking. The client is really asking, oh, like, how do I feel myself about my own sex life?
And yet, as you say, you do have these desires and you do have your feelings, but you don't feel good about them.
Right. And I want you just going to sit there and let me stew in it, and I want more. Uh, I want you to help me get rid of my guilt feeling. If I can get rid of my guilt feeling about lying or going to bed with a single man, any of that, just so I can feel more comfortable.
And I guess I'd like to say, no, I don't want to let you just stew in your feelings. But on the other hand, I also feel that this is the kind of very private thing that I couldn't possibly answer for you,
Mm.
but I sure as anything will try to help you work toward your own answer.
This is such a great thing. I think sometimes clients come in, they want us to solve certain problems that we just can't solve. Um, but we can support them in finding their own solutions. My sense is that the best way to do that is to be very open with clients, right? Like if you look at what Roger says,
But this is the kind of very private thing that I couldn't possibly answer for you, but I sure as anything will try to help you work toward your own answer.
that's such a different response than, well, what do you think you should do? Like I've seen therapists do this where clients ask us a direct question, what should I do? And we turn it back on them. And I don't know about you, but I hate it when people do that to me like in everyday conversation. And I think clients also hate it. It doesn't feel good. It feels actually like you're being ignored. And I think what Rogers does is just very directly, but also very kindly say, I can't answer that question for you. I think it's a really um, skillful way to get out of this sort of position where you have to give the client all of the answers. Let's watch that one more time.
Well, I don't want to let you just stew in your feelings, but on the other hand, I also feel that this is the kind of very private thing that I couldn't possibly answer for you, but I sure as anything will try to help you work toward your own answer.
See, that's such a great way to respond. Let's see how she responds to his response.
I don't know whether that makes any sense to you, but I mean it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. You sound like you mean it. But I don't know where to go. I don't begin to know where to go. I thought that I'd pretty well worked over most of my guilt. And now that this is coming up, I'm disappointed in myself. I really am. I like it when I feel that no matter what I do, even if it's against my own morals or my upbringing, that I can still feel good about me. And now I don't. Like, there's a girl at work who sort of mothers me. And I think she thinks I'm all sweet. And I sure don't want to show my more ornery, devilish side with her. I want to be sweet. And it's so hard for me to, this all seems so new again. And it's so disappointing.
Yeah, I get the disappointment that here, a lot of these things you thought you'd worked through, and now the guilt and the feeling that only a part of you is acceptable to anybody else.
Yes.
That keeps coming out.
The other thing about this tape is Rogers, if you think of us as therapists, we have a handful of different tools that we can use, right? And Rogers' preferred tool is a reflection. I mean, this guy just reflects relentlessly. And for me, it's really fascinating how he uses reflections because he uses this one tool in a bunch of different ways. Like in this statement right here, he basically is using this reflection in order to help her go deeper into her experience. Let's watch that again.
Again. And it's so disappointing.
Yeah, I get the disappointment that here, a lot of these things you thought you'd worked through, and now the guilt and the feeling that only a part of you is acceptable to anybody else.
Yes.
That keeps coming out.
Like he's basically reflecting back her emotions. You feel really disappointed. And there's this part of you that feels like you're unacceptable. He didn't have to say that.
Again. And it's so disappointing. I want to be sweet. I'm all sweet. And I sure don't want to show my more ornery, devilish side with her. I want to be sweet. And it's so hard for me to, this all seems so new again. And it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, she says a lot in that, right? He could have said, this all seems so new to you. And left it at that. That's a reflection. And then she would have talked about how new these things feel, right? He could have said, I think this started off because the client was talking about a lady at her work, right? And Rogers could have said, you really want to impress people at your job. But he doesn't reflect those things. He reflects what's the emotional reality is for her. Let's watch that one more time.
I get the disappointment that here, a lot of these things you thought you'd worked through, and now the guilt and the feeling that only a part of you is acceptable to anybody else.
Yes.
That keeps coming out.
And it really resonates. I mean, if you listen at how quickly and how firm this client says yes, you can tell, oh, this is really resonating with her.
Part of you is acceptable to anybody else.
Yes.
That keeps coming out.
Yeah, that's a pretty profound, like a pretty strong yes.
I guess I do catch the real deep puzzlement that you feel as to what the hell shall I do? What can I do?
Yes, and you know what?
So I teach a lot of courses on different aspects of therapy. And what's really interesting is this moment of silence. One of the things I teach in my courses is silences. So we have this, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 seconds of silence. And Rogers does another type of reflection where you reflect not the emotion that the person is talking about, but you reflect what's happening right now in the moment. So he's reflecting on the fact that she's being silent. She looks puzzled.
I guess I do catch the real deep puzzlement that you feel as to what the hell shall I do? What can I do?
Yes, and you know what?
I think that's a different way of thinking about what do I reflect right now. And I think the truth is, it really depends on what you want, because the more you reflect, whatever you reflect is usually what you get back from the client. So in him reflecting back to her, hey, it looks like this is what you're really confused about. You're really puzzled about this. She's going to tell you in more detail and with more words how she's puzzled, why she's puzzled, what she's puzzled about. I mean, all these different things. Look, if you enjoy these sort of breakdowns, feel free to sign up for our newsletter. Just check the subscription box. Check the box below, or you can go to jordanthecounselor.com/subscribe. I'll put out these sort of videos regularly breaking down therapy sessions so that you and I can learn these skills and really learn from these master therapists. All right. I'll see you next time.